So there's a lot of mining tunnels in Eureka Peak. It's about a 7,400 foot peak. And here's the blacksmith shop. And we'll walk through the area, and then I'm going to start on top and work my way down, so you guys know. Because I want to start at the mill and the mine area. I really do. Can't get in the mine. I got it barred off. It's a state park. But for thousands of years, the Northern Maidu inhabited the Feather Rivers regions of forested ridges, high lakes, green valleys. And I'm reading this from the brochure. So, they came up here to hunt, gather roots, seeds, things like that. They twined baskets, they dried meat, ground up acorns, ungrinding rocks. Maidu women created beads, did a lot of trading up here. They were up in this area till around 1851 when the miners came up here, discovered gold at Eureka Peak. But they brought in a lot of disease, they brought in a lot of destruction, destroyed a lot of the native plant food, cut a lot of trees. Huntington Mill. So it kind of sucks when you think about it. But they chased them out of the area. Plus there was a lot of violence committed by Europeans shooting at the natives. So they chased them off the land that was here. They lived on this peak for thousands of years, just below it, hunting in these woods where we're at. But many of the Maidu here were eventually employed as laborers by white ranchers or miners. So, gold mining, 1848, the gold discovery at John Sutter's sawmill in Plumas brought in a lot of people, especially to the Eureka Peak area. 36 miners joined together to form the Eureka Company. Then other small mining companies formed, creating tunnel mines in Eureka Peak. A lot of little towns around here. Jamison City. You have Jamison City, and you have Johnville, founded in 1876. Jamison City, 1853. And a lot of mills sprang up in the area around the peak. Surface gold deposits diminished. Small mining camps closed. And in 1872, a British company purchased Plumas Eureka mines. I've been in this mill a long time ago, and obviously I like to film so I can show you guys it. But I was in this mill with my son. We went a while back. I've literally, you know what I'm saying? It's in a lot worse condition. But I have been in here before. It sucks because it's just gotten worse. It wasn't as bad a few years ago. But anyways, the British company came here in 1872. They purchased a lot of the Plumas Eureka mines, consolidating and further developing mining operations. A new stamp mill replaced the two older ones. Tunnels were enlarged. Machinery was purchased. The Plumas Eureka mines operated from the 1890s to 1904. Then the British company sold them. Operations tapered off. And during World War II, the U.S. government passed War Production Board Limitation Order, ending mining operations. So the Mohawk Stamp Mill, which I'm filming at, processed more than $8 million in gold from the mines and had 65 miles of tunnels above it. And I'll take you up into the tunnels as far as I can go. But after that, in the winter, heavy snows inspired miners to organize snowshoe races. So the first race took place in 1861. First recorded ski competition in the Western Hemisphere. Snowshoes, longboards, and 12-foot Norwegian longboards were 12-foot Norwegian-style skis that weighed as much as 20 pounds. Skiers had one long, large ski pole carried between the legs as the brake. On straight courses, racers reached speeds of 80 miles an hour. Skiing became a way of life So many people came to this area to ski. Others came to the area to work this mill and the mines above it. Some historians think tramways for the Plumas Eureka's mine may have been the world's first ski lifts. And they would have, I mean, these lifts and all would have, they would have even converted the trams or lifts into, you know, into the, or that using the trams instead of for gold, they used them as ski lifts for Eureka Peak. And when we're almost at the peak, it's still pretty high up above us. But I mean, it's changed, you know. I used to be able to get in here. I can't get in here anymore. And it stinks. It really stinks because I love this mill. Okay guys, so I'm going to take you through a little walkthrough on this path. It's pretty, I mean, we're on a concrete foundation. It's not unsafe. But I understand. It's a liability for stupid people who do stupid shit. And I'm not here to do anything stupid other than to film for you guys. But, yeah, I mean, you have to understand that. See, I can film down here. So the Plumas Eureka State Park features rich mining history surrounding the Eureka mine, which operated in the 1800s, 1900s. The Mohawk stamp mill was built in 1876, and it crushed the quartz. It was one of the most productive in the area. 17 million of gold was produced here. They used jackhammers, drill bits, black powder, cart tramways to extract the gold out of the tunnel, which is above the mill, just above. I mean, it's gotten worse here, obviously. The Johnsville, nearby, was formed in 1876 after the mine's manager, William Johns. The area includes a blacksmith shop, bunkhouses, and a lot of network tunnels here at the state park. So Eureka Peak was called Gold Mountain back in the day. And that's all the gold that was found in Eureka Peak was behind the mill. You can't really see it. You can kind of see the tramway up there. See it way up? Oh, you guys can't see. I'll show you guys. See, we're underneath it. There you go. So up there on the back side, I'll show you guys the Eureka Tunnel, but we're on the side of Eureka Peak. And so Gold Mountain, they called it Gold Mountain because of all the gold that was being brought out of various tunnels located within the mountain. 60 miles worth of tunnels. But mining began here in 1851, and 36 miners formed this area. And the Mohawk mill didn't stand at the time. They had a couple stamps here and there and smaller mills. The Mohawk was built for large production. I mean, that was the whole point of having this mill here, was to you know, hard rock. It was for hard rock mining, and they had multiple stamps. I mean, you can see through here, there's still some big machinery down here, but it all would pound down onto the quartz, break it up, and they would process the gold. It was all processed right here on site. They had the SA office, probably a vault on site to store the minerals and the gold. And we're talking millions of dollars of gold was processed here. But I want to take you guys up to the tunnel. It is up here, I think. I've been up above. I just don't know, like, where the trail goes, how high it goes. I just don't. I've been up here before. Should be up here over here. I mean, the Mohawk Mill, they said, had been partially restored, but yes, but no. And I'm going to take you through Johnstown. It's a town that's just right outside this mining camp. This was a mining camp, but really this was more. What this really was, that you're looking at here, is a mill. It's a mill site. It had everything you needed to do to mill and process the gold. And just around the corner is Johnstown. And Johnstown's where most of the miners had lived. And we been to Johnstown. I mean, there's a restaurant called the Iron Door. It's got a resident ghost. I mean, it's a pretty cool, it really is a pretty cool place to explore. Or cool area, you know. But, yeah, I mean, we've been up here. It's been a long fucking time. Look, it ends here. I don't know how the fuck to get to the mine tunnel. God, none of this shit. I came here before and I remember the trail that keeps going and going. Can't even go up, it's blocked. Overgrowth, brush. I know there's a way to get to the tunnel. Even if it's blocked off, I still want to show you guys the Eureka Tunnel. Because when you enter that tunnel, then there's dozens of miles of tunnels from there. So imagine being a miner and having to hike in a couple miles. And then just go down a few hundred feet down a shaft and mine the gold. I mean, it's a no-joke type of place. A lot of people just don't really know about this place. It's so offbeat. It really is. I mean, it's a beautiful state park, but people don't. I mean, it gets a lot of visitors, but it's not, you know what I'm saying? I have to figure a way up here because I don't know how I got last time to the damn mine. I think it was that path, which, by the way, is way overgrown. So, yeah, see? Can't do it. This sucks. I'm going to go down. I got to see if I can go down around on the other end. I don't know. Nice thing, there's hardly anybody here. There's a town named Quincy. Used to be a mining area too. It's a pretty good sized bustling town in the mountains here. They had the No Kings protest today. It was like, wow, so many people there. I seen a guy out in the middle of the mountains by himself holding No Kings, a No Kings sign. So I thought that was, you know, I mean, this area is, I mean, it's bustling. But yeah, I just don't see how I can go any further, you know. But I am going to go down here because I still got to film the mill and all that. There's a lot of machinery. There's bunkhouses. There's the essay office. It's a little camp. But if you wanted to go to the saloon or the store, you went to Johnstown, which is just a short distance nearby. So it's not like the miners were off and had no access to liquor or music and dancing or supplies. They could go into town. Problem is, I don't see a way to even get. I mean, I remember being on the bottom floor of this, and it's just even more collapsed. But the Mohawk is an amazing, amazing place. You know, it is. It's really an amazing little mill and mine. And it sucks because, like I say, I have been here before. I've been inside before. And I just don't see how I can get up to the tunnel up there. It's been a long fucking time. It looks like to me you can't even get there, like it's overgrown. I may have to just push through that brush. Oh, that's how I got in last time, is right here. I walked right in. Yep, but I lost all my film. When I couldn't find it, I felt so bad. I'm like, damn, one of the greatest mills of all, and I had lost the video footage. So it's even more dilapidated. So I'm pretty lucky, you know, to at least be able to see it. I mean, even a second time, I'm seeing things I didn't see the first time, so I must have just came in, took a few pics, and left. But like, wow. It's a nice looking little mill. If you don't, I mean, I know why they see the sluice box, see the stamp machines, Fulton Ironworks, it crushed it. And you could see the operation started on top, down a conveyor belt at the top, came down a chute, eventually made its way to the crushers, and then was processed further down. Each level did a different type of processing. This is the shit I like. All the big southern San Francisco, California these were made in. But seeing the machinery, the big beams, the iron, all that is just fascinating. And on top of it, you know, I mean, this machinery, this is one of the greatest mills in this region. It is just dumb if you don't come here to see it. I know this camera's not the best. My other camera had an issue mechanically, my good one. So now I gotta send it in and have them fix it. And it's just like, fuck. So that's why I'm using this, and it's not good. The lens is scratched, but you know, it doesn't matter. I'm here to film. You guys get to see one of the greatest mills internally. I have no issue. I know they say dangerous, I get it, but I've been in 100 of these things. But none as nice as the Mohawk. And I mean, you're talking 3-4 stories up. And the miners would be walking the planks, and you'd hear the bell, the stamps, and the bells, and the whistles going off. I mean, it was amazing. Steam whistles, ore being crushed. It's a real mining camp. Trains ran not too far from here. It's just it's a real deal type of place. But it's a multi-story mill. And I mean, it's big. Unfortunately, they don't want you going inside it because it's hazardous. But, you know, what's going to happen? I'm not climbing. I'm not... So, the trail's overgrown. That's why I didn't see it. About 5-6 years ago, it was cleared. You could walk right up the trail to the mine tunnel. Now, the trail's gone. There's a lot of areas of the trail that are just overgrown. My guess is they just don't want people up here. But, you know, it takes away if you can't explore this place. You know what I'm saying? If you can't go up here and enjoy this place, all right. Okay, tunnel's up here. What's the point of enjoying this place if you can't get to it? You know, you got to see the mine if you're gonna see the mill. You got to see the mine. Give me a second, everybody. I'll pull myself up. Ah, there we go. I made it. That's ridiculous. But we're here. It's crazy. I remember coming through here last time with my son. Fucking, yeah. We came up here. Jesus. Oh God, watch out for the red brush. So now we're about 4 stories up on the back side. But it would have went down on a conveyor, the ore would have fell and begun its journey for processing. Now the Eureka mine tunnel should be straight ahead on the trail. Here's the thing. Trail's overgrown. Plus this is what I climbed up. Because it dead-ended with some brush. It's like the whole side collapsed or something. There's a wash. Yeah, see, it's a wash. I went up the wash because the trail's just overgrown everywhere I go. And I needed to get on the main trail, which is better up here. But I'll tell you, I'll take you out near the Eureka. I think the Eureka tunnel's over here. I don't think it's directly behind. Remember, they had trams. The trams would bring the gold to the mill. And it would be processed and dumped onto the conveyor belt or the beltway, whatever they had installed, and come down a chute. And then it would begin its journey for processing. The crushers would crush everything. Here we go. Yeah, we should be at the tunnel up here. I'll try to take a different way out. And then what I'll do is I'll film around the state park itself. This is the mine entrance. It's a very short distance away. See the trail? We're here and here. Parts of it are very overgrown. Oh yeah. And they got it sealed off, so like I'm not gonna, you know what I'm saying? There's no way I'm gonna be able to get, there's a plaque here too. There's no way I'm gonna be able to go into the mine, but you know, you guys still deserve to see what's back here. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen this tunnel. This is not the Eureka main tunnel. This is some side tunnel around, but we're near it. But I don't remember. Because I can tell you right now, it's fucking labeled. It's gotta be it. I think I ended up going down so far until I came across the fucking... Yeah, that's right. I walked in this and it was, at the time, deeper water. So, I've never been in this tunnel. It's crazy. But, yeah, I mean, the beams are gigantic. But I'm not going to be able to get to the... See, there's a tunnel. It says Eureka Tunnel. I don't know I don't know where it is, if it's further down the trail or what. It might be just further away. See, tramway terminal? This is from high up in the mountain. Rock was lowered to the structure by a cable system tram buckets. Here, the waste material was sorted from the ore, then transported by cars to the rear of the stamp mill. So, yeah, they have a... That may have been... That mine that I was in dead-ended after 50 feet. So it must have just been like a test shaft and they didn't find anything. But you could see, I mean, there's tons of There's just, here you go. That's what I want to show you. There would have been a belt around the iron wheel, and it would have hauled the tram carts, or tram car. There's a lot of little historic sights to see here too. I don't know, this may have been a keg house right here for TNT. I don't know. A cabin of some sorts. But I'll go, you know what, I'll go a little ways and check to see if I can find the tunnel. I remember walking on this trail. I remember some of this, but then again, like that wheel, I don't remember seeing that. But I'll see. I believe I went for a hike with my son and we went to the mine. But unfortunately, you know, we're going to have to, it is what it is. I'm going to have to hike back out of the area. So you see, yeah, I don't know what's going on. But it does get lower and lower. I think it goes, yeah, see? It goes probably around to the back side of the SA office and all if I keep going that way. So, I don't know. I may not be able to take you guys it, but you get the idea. There are mines here in upper Eureka Peak. The lower peak area was never really mined. It was the higher peak that was mined, higher up in the mountain. But if you wanted to exit out of the tunnel, one of the tunnels, you had a shaft right here by the Mohawk Mill, and you could just work the mines higher up in the mountain, because you had shafts, you had tunnels, you had shafts, and you go down, and there was an exit tunnel over here. So they have it barred off. I can't find it. I remember coming out this way. Sad thing is I really don't remember. I don't see the Eureka Tunnel. It's got a sign hanging over it. So, but these beams, you don't see that kind of shit anymore. Good luck at seeing anything made with beams like that. But that's why these mills still stand. It's because of beams like that they're made out of. Double beams, triple beams, all one beam cut out of a huge ass tree. But, it's remnants of the tram system. So, we went into the mine. See, you can't go into Eureka Tunnel. It just has a sign hanging over it. So, if you really want to look at it, it's still kind of cool that I got to go inside a mine, even if it was 50 feet back. I've never gone in any mines on Eureka Peak, so that was my first one. I hear construction trucks. It's concerning because they're doing work below. I just walked past all those trucks earlier. So, if I can't find it, I can't find it. I'll get back down to below the mill and I'll check out some of the historic sites. I would have really loved to be able to show you guys the Eureka Tunnel on camera. It's cold, it's wet. There's water flowing in it and out of it. I remember I got my feet wet, but I just don't see it. I thought it was on the back side here, but it's so hard to know. All these trails are heavily overgrown. Now look at all this fucking red brush, man. You know what I'm saying? Can't go through it. It's impassable. And see, this state park is not only 6,700 acres, but it has 10 miles of trails here. And pay attention. I want you guys to do something for me. At the end of the video, I will have a whole gallery with music and pictures. You'll see the Eureka. If I don't find it, you'll see the Eureka Tunnel. And I mean, you walk up to it. It's got bars on it. It's about 6 feet high. It's not very high, but it's a tunnel, a few feet wide. And it says right above it, Eureka Tunnel. And it's very, I don't even know the word, what the word is that I'm looking for, but you could feel like the cold of the mountains. I mean, you shine your light in and you can tell it goes for miles. It's just pitch black, but you could see the first few hundred feet. It just keeps going straight for like a mile. And I don't know why I'm not finding it. It's above the Mohawk Mill, it's on the trail, but like all the trails that were here 6-7 years ago are like overgrown, like non-existent. You know what I'm saying? I remember coming here with my son. I remember seeing that plaque. I remember seeing the beams, you know what I'm saying? It's so unusual. But it's almost like, where's the tunnel? But I'm going to hike out the back way, is what I'm going to do. Fact is it starts to go down and around. And that's okay, because it's time for me to head back to the mining park and the mining buildings and talk about the history of these buildings and for you guys. But you know, you get to see a part of the state park not a lot of people are going to show you online. And I really wish I didn't lose the footage, because I had to come back years later to do this for you guys. But here's the thing. Yeah, I love exploring old mills, mining camps, ghost towns, you name it. Mines, all that. I've been doing this shit for years here out west. I love it. You know, I'm not out here to sue. I'm not out here to, you know, it's at my own risk. I sprain an ankle, break an ankle, that's on me. That would be my own stupidity. But I know that one fire, this whole place could be gone. That's what a lot of people don't understand. Like, it only takes one fire to lose everything. And the Mohawk Mill is gone. And I mean, it's one of the greatest mills in the Plumas, this area, the Plumas National Forest. It was such a large mill. So to be able to hike in it, around it, and above it is really awesome. But at the same time, so a lot's changed since I've been here years ago. Everything's become more dilapidated. A lot of trails are gone. And I mean, it's all good, but it's a big area. And see, I'm on the side of Eureka Peak. I wouldn't necessarily say this is lower Eureka Peak. Or pretty good. I mean, it is. I mean, it is. But I'm going to take you up this 3-mile dirt road, is what I'm going to do. And what's going to happen is I'm going to take you up this 3-mile dirt road. And we're going to go, it's rocky. And at the top of the road's the lake. And then there's the crown of the peak. I mean, literally, it's the easiest mountain to climb if you go all the way up to Eureka Lake, because the peak is right there at the top of the mountain. So you can there's a loop that goes all the way around the top. You can even summit it and rock scramble. It's not that high up. Yeah, I mean, a few hundred feet. So it's pretty cool, but we're below all that right now. We're in kind of below, I mean, we're at, don't get me wrong, I mean, we're still at a good elevation of like 4,000 or 5,000 feet here. So, I mean, the peak's a couple thousand feet above me where I'm standing. But the mines were higher up above the mill. And honestly, I mean, I have to be honest, I do not know why at the moment. I can't find the Eureka Tunnel, but as I was saying before my footage cut out, pay attention to the video at the end, and you will see pictures, a gallery of photos I took on my first visit here. And just, you know what I'm saying? Just pay attention to that. And what I'll do is I'll slowly drive through Johnstown. I'll stop near the cemetery. I'll film a little history on Johnstown. There's a little mining camp around the corner. We have pictures of that. There's another mining camper called Jamison City, which is about a mile from where I'm hiking right now. And we're going to go to Jamison City later. That's our new location. Nobody's seen Jamison City. And honestly, I'd love to include it, but it's kind of its own little ghost town or mining camp. So I don't want to include it with this area. Because, see, the Mohawks served Johnstown and Eureka Peak. And Jamison City was off by its own along Jamison Creek. They did, you could literally take gold right out of the creek, and it flows really good. So, the way I look at it is, we'll eventually get Jamison City on our site, but it's going to take a while. I'm 7-8 years behind on my website. I have like 400 movies and locations to add, 400 documentaries and at least 400 locations. I don't know if I'll ever catch up. I might be dead by then. It takes me sometimes 2 weeks to add a location on the site, and lately I'm not doing them quick enough. So it'll be a while before we get to Jamison City. But I am going to put the movie out for this, because we added it on our site, but we didn't have the movie, so I decided to come here and do some filming and take you guys hiking along below the peak, which I'm doing right now. We're hiking below the peak, and just kind of show you guys the Mohawk Mill and show you guys the mining park, and just kind of let you guys soak it all in and enjoy this place. But yeah, I never did find the Eureka Tunnel, which is okay. I mainly came here for the Mohawk Mine, because like I said, one fire, it's gone. And not everybody has video and photos on the web. And so if we can provide, people from the college or the news with that kind of material, I would like to do that. I would. So and I've done it before in the past, because we've been to places that burned down, and there's not a lot of, some places just don't have a lot of content online. And so when we film a lot of content, we take a lot of pictures. And so that's what makes our website really cool, or what we do so unique, is that when these places get lost, we have documentation. But I basically came off. I just hiked the trail. I don't want to go this way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go deal with the construction, so I just walked down and around. But the peak is all up to our left. So it's a pretty cool area. Don't discount this area. I mean, it might look touristy, but we are still in the middle of nowhere. There's a cabin. And here's the thing. I do 2-3 hour long documentaries now for my YouTube. So I kind of take you guys along with me for the journey. You won't capture Bigfoot if you don't run your camera. You won't capture things if you don't have your camera running, even wildlife. I've realized that over the years, so I film everything. But this area was heavily mined. And that's the thing, you had over 30 miles worth of tunnels in Eureka Peak, just above the Mohawk Mill. I mean, that's a lot of mileage. And you can see off in the distance, I'm right back where my vehicle is. I'm coming a different way in, but I'm below the mill, I'm below everything, and I totally avoided all the construction going on. But, like I say, I don't mind. It's a beautiful day to hike. The creek's out flowing there. And I'm going to go ahead and film these buildings. I'll tell you what each one is. And then we're going to go off to Johnstown and then make our 3-mile trek or 5-mile trek up to Eureka Peak, so I can get some scenic photography, videotape the lake, and we'll finish the evening at Jamison City, creepy little mining camp in the woods. And that's a new place, and you guys are not going to see it on video. You're going to have to wait for that. But it's about a mile, maybe a mile and a half from where I'm at. So it's kind of it's all on its own. We have to, yeah. See, you are here. See. Here's Johnsville. You are here. That's where we're at. We're gonna go up to Eureka Ski Bowl. See the lake? Right here, where it says the parking. It's a rugged road, but we're gonna go through Johnsville, up the road. The ski bowl goes to the left. I think you have to hike, hence the dotted line, or you can park here. See the Eureka? This is Eureka Peak. And you can go all the way around it. It's a loop trail. It starts at the lake, and then this is where we're at, the state park mining complex. And then here's Jamison Mine Complex, or Jamison City. So, it's a good, you can park almost right by it. It's a dirt road, but opposite of Johnsville. And see, where we're at served Johnsville, and then became the Plumas, Eureka, when the mining was done, became a major ski area. But the miners also skied here too. They had to have something fun to do, But I mean, you could take trails and go up to Grass Lake, Smith Lake. There's waterfalls. You can follow the Jamison Creek. But we're going to go to this mining camp, the Jamison Mine Complex. And we're going to open up. There's the old Mammoth Mill, too, at the end of this hike. The old Mammoth Mill. And then that's actually above where we're at, to the left, you see? So this is Eureka Peak right here. This whole area you see was all mined. This is the side of Eureka Peak. And then at the top's the lake and the crown of the peak. But yeah, so I can't wait to open up our own little section on our site for Jamison City. So you guys aren't going to see those movies or pictures, but you will see what you're going to see on this trek. I'm going to show you Johnville. I'm going to show you the Eureka State Park, the Mohawk Mill Mining Complex, which I'm approaching right now. I'm going to show you Eureka Peak, and then Eureka Lake. It's all part of this little area. And then to the south of here, or whatever we have Jamison City, or the Jamison Mine. And that's a whole separate thing. And I wanted to keep it separate because it's really its own town site. They considered it a town, kind of, so it's called Jamison City. So we want to keep it separate because it's really not. You can't say, Jamison City is part of Johnsville. They're two separate towns. You know what I'm saying? And the Mohawk Mill served a lot of the local mines. So I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. But we're back. I mean, it's pretty cool. And that's the camp. Where I was at is the road to go camping. You can camp out here. I think it's good fucking camping, to be honest with you. Man, it's warming up out. I came here near Christmas time years ago. It was so cold here. Also, there was a lot less leaves on the trees, so maybe that's why there's a lot more leaves, so I don't see the trails up here too much. This is a museum. It's never open. But I'll talk about the area with you guys. And I want everybody to understand something. Before you're rude and you troll me on YouTube, I do this because it's a learning experience. And I care about preservation. I don't do this because I'm not a good producer. I'm a good producer. I'm not a good filmer. I have too many medical problems to even hold a camera straight. I just do. And that's the truth. So, when I'm out and about and I'm doing this kind of thing with you guys and taking pictures or video, it's not about the quality. It's about my voice. Listen to my voice. And I'll take you on a journey. I mean, I love this area. I love the state park. It's so nice kept. It's so quiet and beautiful here. And this is Pat's porch. And so that's why I take you guys here, to show you these places. It's about showing you some places. It's not about doing all the work for you. It's to get people off their couch to say, wow, that place is cool. I want to check it out like Lord Rick did. And maybe you'll see something I didn't see. I go to places all the time and miss stuff. I've had a few people tell me, did you see the cemetery hidden in the woods? I'm like, no. So yeah, I mean, it's just, I guess that's what it comes down to. It's about seeing what you can see and sharing. So before you go any further and you troll my videos, you're rude, whatever the case is, try to understand. I travel hundreds of miles across the West to visit these places. I don't get paid to do this. I'm not famous. I have more investigations into the paranormal than almost any paranormal investigator in the world. I have more ghost town explorations than most ghost towners I hear out west. More off-roading experience, thousands of miles of dirt roads and rocky roads for years. So I'm an experienced man, and the only thing keeps slowing me down lately is my age, because I have a lot of medical problems. So just to be able to breathe the fresh air and see the place is kind of bring me a little bit of joy. And I hope this brings you some joy too. So let's talk about this here, okay? Because I still have a couple places here and there I want to show you guys, all right? It's a pioneer ski area of America. It says the first ski area in the Western Hemisphere was in the Sierra Nevada. By 1860, races were held in the Plumas Sierra region. The mining towns of Whiskey Diggins, Poker Flat, Port Wine, Onion Valley, L.A. Porte, Jamison City, and Johnsville organized the earliest ski clubs and annual competitions. And it's one of the first ski lifts at ski resorts began here by Eureka Peak. That's why I want to take you guys there, because it is historic. I would love to hike out to the mill ruins and all that. I would. I just don't know if I have time. Jamison City is my big focus, and when I get sidetracked, then I miss out on things. So I don't think I'll have time to hike out to the ski bowl, but you get the idea that the peak went from, they had ski clubs, but it turned into a major ski destination above this area because mining in the 40s, mining was irrelevant here after World War II. So people came up here to honeymoon and ski and enjoy the outdoors and all that. It became an outdoors mecca, Eureka Peak, and that's what it is today. There's lakes all over you can backpack to. It's a really cool place. There's not a whole lot about the museum, but I'll still go over everything or show you guys. But I'll show you guys the Bushman 5-stamp mill. I already showed you the Mohawk stamp mill. Stables, blacksmith shop, mine office, miner's home, Morierte house, which is in Johnsville, I believe. I could be wrong, but I believe it's also haunted from what I've read. The longest running ski races, Gold Mountain was the site of the first recognized ski races in North America. The National Longboard Championship, the longest running ski races since 1911, have been held at the park at the Eureka Ski Bowl since 93. So since 1993, they were having ski competitions. They don't do it anymore. We're talking over 20 years ago. And a tent city had sprang up not too far where Johnsville was. And eventually, they built the whole... this whole area, a lot of the miners stayed in tents that were up here. Johnsville didn't come till later on. If you wanted supplies, you had to go to the Jamison City not too far away. And let me tell you something else. You guys, I don't know if you guys can see the mill up on the hill. Okay. See the mill, the wooden mill? That's where we were, on the back side, way on top where the roof is. But anyways, it cost $50,000 to build the mill in this complex that you see. Okay? $50,000. The mill contains 60 stamps, each one weighing 600 to 950 pounds, dropping 8.5 inches 80 times per minute. Each stamp could crush 2.5 tons of ore. Man, it's sunny out today. Beautiful day, though. Warm. We're almost at the end of October. It's just so lovely here. This is a mining office. It may have even been the bunkhouse. I'm not sure, but this is the museum. Like I say, they're never open. Still a cool place. You see the size, it's just unbelievable. So this was the miners' bunkhouse. Today it's the museum, so I wanted to make sure. I don't know if it also there's the essay office is also here, and I'm not sure. I'm not honestly sure that this is anything other than the bunkhouse. That might be the essay office over there, so pardon me. But anyways, this would have been the bunkhouse. You could see this big stone fireplace. It's a grand fireplace. And there was room. You had a lot of miners living here. The miners were living here, and you didn't just have the miners. You had millers, people operating the mill, working at the Mohawk Mill. And I'm going to go back up to the Mohawk Mill one last time before I leave. But I wanted to just take one last stroll through the place before we take off for you guys, because I walked through the park earlier and went straight to the mill because I wanted to go. I was excited to go inside because it had been years since I've been inside it, and it was in a lot better condition. When I went inside the mill years ago, all that debris, pieces of wood, all that shit wasn't even there. So, I mean, it's obviously the roof, the whole area is collapsing. I understand why they don't want people there. So don't try this at home. Enter at your own risk. Do not enter because you've seen it on YouTube or my work. It is no trespassing. You are not allowed in there. It is a safety hazard. You're not allowed in there. But I've been there multiple times, so that's my choice. So don't blame me for your poor choices. This was the blacksmith shop, okay? And you had to have a blacksmith shop. I made all sorts of shit there. All kinds of tools, just iron spikes, shit for the mill, you know. It was a good-sized blacksmith shop. And you had an anvil, and you'd hear the hammering going on all day long. You had to have it. It was a pretty massive operation that was here. People don't really realize that either, of how big of an operation this was. Like when you come here, you could probably imagine yourself hearing bells and whistles, and the anvils going off. And do you get what I'm kind of saying? Like when I walk through these places, I'm stepping back in time. I'm imagining hearing the anvil, the steam whistle at the mill, or the whistle when it's time for shift change. A couple miners talking here by the bunkhouse, maybe smoking a cigar. You know, you could envision that. That's the thing. And I envision that. So, anyways, the bunkhouse, I mean, I bet you it's pretty haunted here too, I'm sure. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, is that there were minor accidents, there were some deaths that occurred in the area. So, you know, miners died. It was a dangerous job. When I go to these places, it's like a blast to the past. Does that make sense? You hear the anvil, you hear the whistles, the steam just going psst, you know, you could just imagine that. So we're lucky places like this still stand, that we can enjoy them and explore them. And I'm an urban explorer. You're not going to stop me from exploring. You're not. Exploring's what I do. It's part of who I am. And it's not something I ever want to give up on. But when, I'm lucky to have my legs still work to be able to take me to places like this. Because honestly, it's a really cool place. And if you don't appreciate this kind of thing, it's because you don't live here out west. And I love living out west because I like to see places like these. So, okay, I found it. Okay, everybody. This is the essay office. Or the mine office. If you were an employee, you'd see your foreman here at the mine office. But it was also the office of the mine. They probably had a vault inside to store the mineral, the gold. Because, I mean, it didn't take a lot of gold to equal thousands of dollars. That's the thing. You could store it in a safe, literally. And then export the bars to the bank or wherever they needed to go. And a lot of the banks were in San Francisco for places like these. But also, if you went to see the foreman or you went to see your boss or check in and out, you'd probably stop in the mine office. You were employed by the place, by the Mohawk Mill and the Eureka mine. But we'll be done soon, and then we'll go off to Johntown a little bit. And I'll talk about Johntown. Like I said, I feel pretty bad that we lost our footage, because honestly, I did a pretty good documentary. And years ago, my hand was a lot steadier than it is now, but it doesn't matter. I'm committed. And I came back. And coming back here a second time, I don't have any complaints. This mill is so massive. What a sight to see. You're missing out if you don't see this place, you know? Look at the size of it. But anyways, when the British came here and bought the mines and the mill and everything up, they perfected the method of removing rich ore from within the mountain. At one point, 3 stamp mills were in operation at various locations. One of them is the Mammoth mine. The other one's the Mohawk, or the Mammoth mill, which is above the Mohawk, higher up a couple miles on that road I was telling you guys about where the ski bowl was. But yeah, they use those tram cars as ski lifts. But anyways, this was built in 1876. It cost $50,000 at the time to build this massive mill. It had 60 stamps inside, each weighing 600 to almost 1,000 pounds, with a drop of 8.5 inches, 80 times per minute. It could crush 2.5 tons of ore, a small dump truckload every 24 hours. Then the ore was brought from the shafts higher up on the mountain by the means of 2 gravity-powered trams, with ore buckets carrying miners up the mountain in the winter. Served as the first ski lift in California. When mining in the area ceased for good in the 40s, $8 million. By then, around tens of millions of dollars had been mined out of here. About 20 million from what I've read on the plaque, and I'd rather listen to the park history plaque. And I mean, can you imagine 1851, the Maidu Native Americans are hunting, they're living off this ground and these grounds, and all of a sudden a bunch of miners and millers come in and start constructing all this, and they're just like, it brought in disease and violence. They kicked the natives right off this area because the gold meant more to them than the native people living here, and tensions rose because of it. I mean, they got something's going on here. So, look, there's a plaque missing. And that's the thing, that's the difference between me and other people. So you're cutting away the trees. That whole building in the front collapsed. Used to be much more stable in the front years ago. But there was an ore car trestle to the Mohawk Mill with the team terminus building in the background, with an aero tram from the 76 mine closed for the season. Well, that tram would take you up to the ski bowl. And it says that the ski tracks and the longboard skis in the... Oh, okay. So the ore car... You had a boarding house. I'm going to take you up to Eureka Lake, because there was a boarding house across the lake at one time. And I'll show you what the peak looks like. This is what I was telling you. You're almost at the top, and here's the lake. This is how it's going to look when I park up there. So pay attention. The boarding house you can see to the right. You see it there across the lake? The boarding house was for miners, but it's also for people staying there for ski competitions. And they had so much snow here. Like here's Johnville. Look, it's buried. The roofs are buried. I mean, the winters were brutal up here. But Johnsville was called after William Johns, who came up here So the mountainside took on quite a village appearance. There were 2 stores, a hotel, a saloon, 2 other saloons, a bootmaker shops, livery stable, and a few dwellings just outside where we're at. It says people would often ride the empty ore carts back up the mountain to the town site. After completion of Mohawk Mill in 1878, it took 2 years to build this, but by 1878, Johnsonville became the primary town for miners. But at one time, where we're at, this site did have a stable, a saloon, and a hotel, a couple stores here. There was 2 other saloons. There's a hotel with a saloon plus 2 other saloons nearby. A bootmaker shop, stable, and all that. And, I mean, basically, the ore cart trestle went from the Mohawk Mill all the way to the tram terminus building, which was higher up on the mountain, so that way you could ski. You could go skiing. And that's what it would have looked like, the area back in the day. It wasn't as forested as it is now, This is phenomenal as well. The steam boiler, if I've ever seen one, look at the hatch on that thing on the back. It's sunny, so I don't want to get in the sun, but yeah, has all the bells and whistles. That's a real deal type of thing there. I love it. But you could take the ore buckets up to the top, and you can kind of see the peak up there. It's way the hell up. There's a road I'll be taking to go up to the lake, and that's as close as you can get to the peak. The rest is on foot from there. But yeah, this area, they said this area was kind of like a small town. Like I said, it had some stables, some residential homes, some saloons, a hotel here, plus the Mohawk Mill and the SA office, the blacksmith. All this was here. A lot of what's here is long gone. Try to understand. It's all long gone. But the mill is a reminder of what once was here. It was a giant operation with a lot of employees. It took a lot of employees. You had employees who were miners. You had employees who were millers. You had employees running the tram systems and upkeep in that. But you just hike in a loop, and it just goes all the way around the park. And so I'm pretty much done here. I'm going to move on to Johnsville and Eureka Peak and Eureka Lake. I would love to see the Mammoth Mill, but it's like you can either go up to the lake or you can take the trail to the left and go to the Mammoth Mill and Ski Bowl. I care more about going to the lake and showing you guys the peak on video, because you don't understand the sheer size of the mountain. See, it's like, look at it, I'll show you. Way the fuck up there. We're going to go way above, up in the mountains, high up above the mill to get to Eureka Peak. This is an air compressor, by the way. So this is an air compressor. This here is the SA office in the background with the Huntington. This is where the Huntington mill was. A much smaller mill was here at the time. And you can see the foundation. And some mills were just a couple stamps with a small little building for processing. Not every mill is the size of the Mohawk. The Mohawk's unusually very large. A lot of mills I go in aren't always that big. It's a pretty large mill. And that's quartz. That's what you would that's what you'd crush and find your gold in. But you had to find a gold vein. Some quartz could be just quartz and have low grade gold. It was high grade gold in that quartz. And this is probably the livery stables right here. So, it's quite the complex here. And keep in mind, it was a camp. So it had a couple saloons, maybe a store, but that's it. When Johnsville was built, everybody depended on Johnsville up the road. And so this camp was more of just the industrial section of Johnstown. If you lived in Johnsville, you went a few hundred feet down the road from here and you worked up at the mill and the mine. But before Johnsville was built, this camp had a little bit your basic necessities. And this is pretty fucking cool too. And I'm really fascinated by rusty things. Rusty is good. And when you go to ghost towns and you see a lot of rusty things and artifacts, you get excited. I get excited. Because that means there's some things existing still in the town or the camp. And I mean, this place is worn down. It's like 6 years, maybe 7 years ago I was in the Mohawk Mill, and the changes here, everything looks so much older and worn out and weathered. I mean, it's still preserved, but man, I'm a little concerned, you know. It is concerning. Like a lot of the I can't even read the plaques anymore. And I'll show you what I'm talking about. You used to have a diagram of the mine that was here. You can't even see the diagram. See, behind the Mohawk Mill, not where I was at. I mean, I took you guys in a mine a little bit. But I can't find the Eureka Tunnel. We have pictures of it from before, so I'll include it in the video. But the long tunnel that I filmed my first time before I lost the film footage and took pictures is an adit, okay? You could enter the mine that way, and then there were shafts going up, and you can barely see anymore. This would have been... See, here's the stamp mill and the jaw. It shows the Mohawk. You can't see nothing. Like, everything is so... I can't even read this anymore, okay? But it talks about the process and the machinery. This used to be all legible. It's faded. It needs to be redone. It talks about the machinery and the processing and all. So that's what I'm talking about. The boards, it's not as red. The paint's all chipped. The roof's coming off. The boards are curled up. These buildings were in much better condition. So things are changing. You know, 6-7 years makes a difference. But the adit tunnel, that's what I couldn't find today. I don't know if it's overgrown, if I'm on the wrong path. I know it's behind the mill. I've been back there. There's a nice scenic view somewhere up there. We didn't hike far. At the time, I took my family with me. That's when I had a family. I don't have, you know what I'm saying? But when I had a family, we went back here on a little hike. It was only like, it was a short distance from the Mohawk, maybe 10 minutes away. And I went to the adit. They got it barred off. But today I didn't see the adit. Instead, I went in an actual mine. And the tunnel dead-ended. They probably didn't find high-grade quartz there. So they stopped tunneling. But anyways, what you'd have is like multiple levels within Eureka Peak behind the mill, okay? And there's different levels. And the one level comes out behind the mill. And while there's higher levels. And you could ride the ore kegs to the top and do the mining, because a lot of the mining went on higher up above this. This was just a milling operation here, but they also were in charge of the mines, and how you got to the mines would be from the Mohawk Mill, taking the tramway up to the top, or the adit tunnel. So yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot left. It's kind of, when you think about it, it's a little sad, because I get why they blocked the tunnel off, because there are some really stupid people who have no experience doing this kind of thing. And this is my life, exploring ghost towns, you know. This is what I do. I've been the hundreds. But I mean, we're about to leave. So I thought I would just take a couple more pictures, and then we're going to take off and go to our other locations. I've been in a few mines that the shafts were thousands of feet down. And I'm a smart guy, because I don't ever cross any areas where there's weak boards, shafts, you know, weak ladder, any of that. But this mine goes for tens of miles, so if they had it opened up and somebody went in and got lost or fell down a shaft, you know, it's very dangerous. Because this was not, I mean, the mine I went in up there went 50 feet back. Ooh, big deal, you know. It dead-ended. And it could be because they were, what it is, that's probably where they did their assay samples first, to see how rich the gold was in the lower portion here. And there was nothing, so they went higher with the tram system. And not to say there's no gold in the quartz. There's probably other veins at lower levels. But you, like you say, you gotta dig, you gotta tunnel in, you gotta take samples, and then you gotta continue to work the vein. And this was kind of a gateway into the Eureka mine tunnels. Not to be confused with the Eureka mine tunnel up in Nevada we've been to as well. It's a hydraulic monitor. So for all the little, you see all the little, like, when I was here going past some creeks and past some washes, you take the hydraulic hose, the hydraulic monitor, and spray the banks along the creeks, like Jamison Creek up by Jamison City, or Jamison City. There's the creek. You could spray along the creek and get high amounts of gold, placer gold, using a hydraulic hose. The problem is hydraulic mining ruined the environment. If you got hit with one of these, it could blast a hole through a person or blast them 30 feet. Very dangerous. And so there's a lot of environmental laws towards the 1900s. You couldn't do hydraulic mining. It was forbidden because it was ruining entire mountainsides. And they didn't do hydraulic mining above here. It was all hard rock tunnel mining and removing the ore and tunneling. This was used on the creeks behind me. And the creeks are just beyond, there's a lot of creeks and tributaries and so forth beyond the boarding house. And you see them, some of them are dry, but you would blast them with the water cannons, and sift the soil, and that's where you would find your gold flakes, and you would process it. These are tram buckets. At one time, skiers and miners would stand in these, and it would take you up the mountain, and they would go skiing. The miners had to have something to do, so they got involved in using Norwegian skis. They were real long, and skiing for recreation, even little contest here. That's what you had to do, or drink at the saloon. It was very limited to what you could do. Very limited. Activities were very limited. You could go skiing here, fishing, hunting, gold panning, drink at the saloon. There wasn't a lot of entertainment. We're very isolated in the middle of the mountains. And this would have been, you would have had on here ore carts. You didn't need a very large gate. I mean, this is what was in the tunnels, is these rails with carts. And the miners would load the carts would make it to the kegs, and dump the ore in the kegs at the entrance, work it down the mountains right to the Mohawk Mill. It's a pretty basic operation, but it worked and it was efficient, and this area made millions of dollars because of it. So I'm going to take on off, everybody. Across the street's a structure or two. I'll stop at it real quick as well, but honestly, I got too many other places to go, and Jamison City is a new place I've never been nearby. Grinding wheels, and I want to see that more than even this place, because I've been here before. Chilean mill stone wheels, basically grinding wheels. They used to grind the rocks, the quartz as well, for gold. It's the old-fashioned way. Stick a couple mules in circles, just go in circles, grinding and grinding on an aristra. So that was pretty cool. And if I didn't pronounce it right, sorry. I have a New York accent, and I'm from New York, so I pronounce everything different. Picnic benches here, too. Okay, so it's part of the state park. White picket fence. And that's right across the road. This could have been the foreman or the mine manager or the mill manager's home. He probably would have had a homestead for him and his family, so not a big deal, you know. I think that's what it is. He wouldn't have lived in the boarding house. He'd have had his own home. A lot of times, if you were the foreman or you helped run the mine or the mill, you were in charge of everything, you got your own little homestead for you and your family. It's true. And so it has a white picket fence around. There's a picnic bench here, so it's not private property or anything. I just wanted to stop real quick and show you guys it. So around the corner we'll be at Johnsville. So here is Johnsville, everybody. Eureka Peak is a little off to my left. And I will stop at a place up here to just do a little filming, I guess. Let's see. These houses are gorgeous. And this town dates back from the 1870s, so it's pretty old. And if you lived here, you worked at the mine and the mill, which was just around the corner. You see now, it's like 30 seconds away. But I'm gonna park here real quick, folks, and I'll do a quick walking tour of downtown right here from where my truck is, so you can see everything. It's nice. It's very historic here. There's a lot of haunted places in this town, supposedly, too. But there's the fire station, some cabins, a hotel. Yeah, it's one of the hotels right here, Johnsville Hotel. There's a cute little pioneer cemetery just around the corner as well. This is a tiny hamlet, okay, known as Johnsville, along Jamison Creek. We're at 5,180 feet. 2,000 feet more is the peak, is Eureka Peak. So this area is known for the mining and the skiing. This town supplied the Mohawk mill miners with something to do, and millers. They came here to drink at the saloons. It brought in people too, so that they could go skiing here, and they did utilize the tramway at the Mohawk mill. But Williams Johns came here in 1876, brilliant manager of the Eureka mine, who made the operation incredibly efficient and profitable for the London-based Sierra Buttes Mining Company investors who owned the successful Sierra Buttes mine in Sierra City. I've talked about them before. The rich ore was sent on cable tramways by buckets to the Mohawk Stamp Mill. Okay. So the area around here at one time between Johnsville and LaPorte were completely stripped of the trees to build dozens of mining camps in this town. In the wintertime, miners were snowbound. The snow was 30 feet deep here, so it made it hard to live here. In 1853, Charles Nelson, a Norwegian-born pioneer, introduced local miners to longboard skis, and used in Telemark region of Norway to help residents get around in the winter. And so they came here. And so when you came to ski here, you would stay in Johnsville at the hotel. This is the Johnsville Hotel. A lot of these structures you see here in town are haunted. Every time I come here, I see vehicles, but I don't see people, okay? Like that house is new. That's not historic, but you get the idea, okay? We're downtown Johnsville. And when I first entered town, there was a few older homes. And I mean, they're beautifully restored. People live in them. But the hotel, it's gorgeous, you know. And I mean, there's a fire station, still the fire bell, and a garage, and like there's some mining machinery right there. I'll tell you about some noticeable people that live here. Maria Cuneo, Johnsville's resident, who after being accused of flirting at a local dance by her husband, vowed to never leave her house out of loyalty. 50 years later, followed her husband's death, Mary took her steps outside of her yard in 1930, living here. Was shown to Ripley's Believe It or Not. Also, politics. In the state legislature, Johnsville is the first senatorial district represented by Republican Megan Dolly, and first assembly district represented by Republican Heather Hadwick. Federally, Johnsville is California's third congressional district represented by Republican Kevin Kiley, and this is years ago. It's changed. But anyways, Johnsville was the site of an early gold discovery in California here. The placer mine here, gold mining began here near Johnsville around 1849, once people realized that there was rich veins in the mountain above Johnsville. And see, you have to understand something. Johnsville didn't exist till the 1870s. There was nothing here. Nothing. The only thing around here was the Mohawk. The only thing around here was where the Mohawk where the Eureka Tunnel was and the Mohawk Mill. That area had a couple saloons and a blacksmith shop and stables and a hotel. That was it. That was all that was out here before this town was established. And then you had about a mile away from that, Jamison City, which is a pretty early mining camp as well. But like I say, these little mining camps, if you wanted to get supplies, you had to go into town, even if it was like a little bit of a half-mile journey. Many fires took place, which I'm surprised, because you can clearly see a lot still standing, a lot of historic homes and structures. I'm sure Johnsville was a lot larger prior to the area's fires. But I mean, if you walk around downtown, what's amazing about it, I mean, I just see machinery everywhere and cabins and rusty mining relics, that kind of thing. So, oh yeah, here's the iron door. I got a ghost story associated with this place too. Okay, this is Iron Door, guys. This is a restaurant right here, okay? Maziel Moriarty, her portrait hangs on the wall of the Iron Door restaurant at Johnsville. As far as I know, it still does. At this restaurant right here, okay? She's a member of one of the original mining families that settled the town in Johnsville during the gold rush in the late 1800s. Her life was cut short. She passed away at the age of 10 from rheumatic fever. Although her time was brief, her presence remained throughout time, even today. And they do have a picture of her. Anyways, this opened in 1961 for business. It's not as old as you think. But the Moriarty family lived here. Gold fever was in full swing in the hills and mountains above. And it says that it's been in business since 1961. I guess the historic building's been around. The restaurant came later. But anyways, the building dates back. This is a Johnsville firehouse, by the way. See the bell? But anyways, let me try to get... The sun is so bright I can't see anything. Okay, here's the Iron Door restaurant from the side. Anyways, they opened their business from 1961. It was a general store and a post office when the mining town was in its gold years. So it's over 100 years old, the building. It's the only remaining commercial establishment in town today. The hotels are not operable. These are all residential. A lot of abandoned buildings that are boarded up here. It's a ghost town, or a semi-ghost town. But Maziel, she died of a pandemic, of a disease. A lot of the children lived hard lives up here. Same with the miners. Miners went to work. Miners died in the mines. Didn't come home to their sons or daughters or wives. Sometimes the kids got sick. Sometimes accidents happen. If the elements didn't kill you, maybe a bear would. Or an accident. You know, children got in accidents. But children mostly, the most common death was pandemics. Yellow fever and rheumatic fever, that kind of thing. But anyways, this is almost directly across from the restaurant where Maziel's portrait hangs in Johnsville Cemetery. The cemetery's somewhere here. I think it's over here. I'm going to have to look. But the cemetery, anyways, I can see her portrait in the cemetery. But supposedly, anyways, the Moriarty house is a small red house with the white door. Okay, I'm going to try to find it. But you can visit the Moriarty house. And I think it was that house with the white picket fence. Otherwise, that belonged to the foreman. It's one or the other. I am not 100% sure where Maziel's house was. But if you stroll through the cemetery and read headstones, it'll tell you about some of the people that came here originally and had short lives due to the dangerous work in the mines, the diseases that were untreatable, including the story of Miss Maziel Moriarty. But anyways, restaurant employees say there's a resident ghost here who have worked at the restaurant. They say her ghost resides upstairs. See how there's an upstairs? And you can ask staff about it. The restaurant's not open, so it's not like I can talk to anybody about it. But it's still pretty cool. And this is the entrance. A pretty cool green door. Pretty cool green door. But anyways, as the story goes on, and I'm going to tell you guys about it, okay? Her portrait hangs at the Iron Door restaurant. Every time they move it to another location, strange things start happening. So, at least according to the employees. So it remains in place today, prominently displayed, and always has, because they say every time they used to move it around, strange happenings would occur. And you can also get a table with the portrait of the little girl. But you can get prime ribs, seafood, pasta, steak, German specialties like Jager Schnitzel. It's awesome. It's closed. I'd love to go to the restaurant and bar and get myself a brew. But supposedly she haunts the upstairs of the restaurant. And employees will often talk about her often strange like if they, in the past they used to move her portrait around. It's been sitting for many years where it's at. But I mean, people would hear, you hear footsteps, giggling. Some people have even seen her here. And I think it's just the fact that when they moved the portrait out of the way, it's kind of like one of those things that, she's died as a little girl, likes the attention, likes to be remembered. And when you move the portrait and it doesn't get seen, I think that kind of like causes a stir, and it causes the place to become a little more active paranormal wise. So I mean, it's like stepping back in time, trust me. This is, even though the restaurant was established in 1961, this is the building's original. It's made of wood. It was a post office, it was a store, so it had other purposes, let's put it that way. But you can clearly see there's the fire hall. You can clearly see the fire station across the road. Fires were pretty common. Like I said, I'm surprised the town didn't burn down. I mean, literally the tree is touching the side of that structure. You know what I'm saying? It's such a hazard to have trees and power. Look at the power lines and trees so close together. It just scares me a little. I'd hate to see this place lost. Some of the older houses are gorgeous up here. Gorgeous. But there's a little cemetery I'm going to stop by real quick to show you Maysville's portrait before we move on to Eureka Lake and Eureka Peak. And then finally Jamison City. See, there's no porch up here. It's gone. I mean, and this is not used as a hotel. The only commercial business is right there. The Iron Door restaurant. But the upstairs probably has, some smaller rooms and so forth. And that's where the ghost haunts the upstairs. Because there's probably a residential area above the restaurant on the second story, I'm sure. I think that little house with the white picket fence was the Moriarty house. And the little girl died of rheumatoid fever there. And she haunts the restaurant across the street, which used to be the post office and general store. But I believe they said it was a little red house with a white door. I think that was the house. It's pretty back here. People live there. That looks abandoned. Like you can see all the way through the house. Like some of these houses, there's no commercial businesses. It's all, you know what I'm saying? It's all homes, except the Iron Door. They're supposed to have really good food there when they're open. Fact is, when are they open? This is School and Church Street up here, so this is a big town. But if you lived here, that's a cute little house. But if you lived here, you were a miller, worked the tram, or worked in the mines. It was over 30 miles of tunnels, or you ran shops here in town. But if you lived here in Johnsville or whatever, if you lived here, you basically worked at the Mohawk Mill where the state park is. That's a big state park, 7,000 acres almost. I mean, I like what they've done with the area, and of course we'll see Jamison City too, but...
The sign says cemetery, by the way.
Oh, I just don't remember this. Maybe I took the other road to the left and that's what it is. Yeah. Some of these houses are new. It's a pretty area to live. Yeah. Yeah. That's right, we took that road last time. I was also going to tell you another notable person lived here was George Quellich, a baseball player, besides Maria Cuneo, who stayed in her house for 50 years here in Johnsville. But this is the cemetery. It opened in 1881. Some of the people here that were buried here are miners, millers, people that worked the mills. Some people died in mining accidents, milling accidents. It's just... That's just the way it is, man. Life was tough here. If you came up here and you journeyed up into these mountains and you lived here, every day could be your last. Because, I mean, they had a lot of incurable sicknesses. That's why the Maidu people got wiped out here, because the Europeans brought all this sickness with them. There was no immunity. They didn't have any immunity to it. Delbridge, yeah, I remember these graves. But there is a picture of Maziel I'd like to show you, since I can't get into the restaurant. But if you're going to come to Johnsville, you should stop at the cemetery. And I'm going to ride you guys up to the lake, up to the peak. And we're going to go for a hike in the woods and go to Jamison City. And it's going to get its own section on our website down the road. Thing is, there's 100 ghost towns I haven't showed you guys. But eventually, we're going to be putting out about 100 videos of ghost towns on YouTube that I've done over the last 8 years. And there's also we have 100 hours of footage. I can't wait. All sorts of adventures. And then also on top of that, I'm going to put out for you guys, I'm going to also put out on our website add 100 ghost towns to our website. So you guys got a lot of shit to look forward to. And someday you'll see Jamison City. But we want to focus on Johnsville and Eureka, because what happened was I put all the videos in a folder, put them on my hard drive, well, they disappeared. Don't know what happened to them. And so I feel really bad. And the last few years I've been thinking about it to myself, and I'm like, you know what? I just need to come up here and do some YouTube video for October for everybody, just to see, because it's on our website. Nobody has any way to view a video of the place because we lost it, and now I get to show you guys this place and recreate my documentary from years ago. And yeah, I mean, it's just a beautiful place all around, and it's an old cemetery. There are some vandalized graves as well here, and I hate seeing that. It's a beautiful pioneer cemetery. I mean, all these towns that I take you guys to, and like on this trip, this is like my 5th or 6th ghost town on this trip, and these ghost towns that I go to, one day when we put them on our site, they're beautiful. You get to see the mines, the cemeteries, the old buildings, and hear about ghost stories. It's so cool, you know. I mean, there's nothing like it in the world. And I mean, I go to some of the most beautiful cemeteries. This place is beautiful. But there's also a lot of vandalized stones or crumbled stones. And sometimes trees fall on them. What happens is a tree will fall, break a stone in half. Yeah, see, I don't know. There's a pumpkin back there. I don't know where Maziel's grave is. Some old ones coming up. I have a picture of it, I think, on our website. There are newer stones. You gotta remember, people live here. This is not a complete ghost town. There are many abandoned buildings. There's many restored giant homes that wealthy miners here lived in for years that have been restored, and people live in them. And there's even some new homes here. But you get the gist of it. It's a really nice cemetery. I just don't know where Maziel's picture is, or her grave. There's a picture of her on the grave itself. I just don't see it. you know. But you guys get the idea. And you have to remember, some of these people died tragically. This is not a... Some people don't even have a headstone. It's just a circle of stones. People died tragically in the mines, and I just, you know, it's sad. It is. Some of these people died very young. There's no name on this. The front, that's why, done 1895, 45 years old. And it's such a, I mean, think about that, 45, you're still kind of young. 45. People died. People came here and they died. There was avalanches. I mean, you seen when I looked at the picture, when I was looking at a photo on one of the bulletin boards, they showed the snow over the roofs of all the houses around here. At one time, they cleared all the trees to build the town here, and the mills and the mines. So, and I seen a picture. Remember what I said during my filming? There's hardly any trees. It's because they cleared them all out. This whole area was cleared of trees back when they were doing heavy mining. I don't see Mazielle's grave. I don't want to spend all day here. But anyways, supposedly there's a picture of her, and it's an older grave. I don't see it. But you get the idea. I gave you guys a nice little stroll through. And Johnsville is just one of those off-the-beat places. Like, if you ever talk to anybody, they're like, what, Johnsville? I don't know no Johnsville. Yeah, because we're 5,000 feet up below Eureka Peak, surrounded by mining camps and mills and mines. This is a miner cemetery. These are miners' families, except the newer graves are more current residents who have permanent residency in Johnsville. Still a nice place. And if you come to Johnsville, please check out the cemetery. Please. And treat it with love and respect. It's a great place.
Oh, God. Shit.
And this one picture I seen where it's fucking,
Just right there to that. Real quick.
Yeah, well, I'm running out of time.
It's gonna take a second. I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
Turn left, then turn left.
See, folks,
Turn left.
there's no cops up here. It's a very quiet community now. No commercial businesses, really. Oh, right here, look.
It's somebody's property.
They're building it. It's a construction thing. It doesn't matter. You think anybody cares? Nobody there.
That's where the police live, right?
Police, park rangers, whatever. It's national forest we're in. It's probably a park range. It's part of. This is all part of the state park right here.
When possible, make a U-turn.
Yeah. That's the Moriarty house. That's not the miner's office.
Moriarty.
Yep. See that red house? See the red house through the trees with the white picket fence, folks, that I took you to? It's not the foreman's home. I thought it was the mining manager's home, but that is the Moriarty house. And the 10-year-old Mazielle lived in that house. You can see it kind of back there, lived in the house. She lived in the house with her family. Her dad would say, went to work every day across the street there at the Mohawk Mill and the Eureka Mine. So, you know, it's just an example of a miner family that came here, and lost one of their children. And she's buried at the cemetery here. Johnsville's right on the edge. So it's all part of the same area, which is why I decided to just redo the filming, because I gotta have film of this place. If there's ever a fire, what a loss this would be. So many historic sites around.
Turn left.
Like that old homestead made out of wood with the long glass windows. I mean, I've been around, and there's so many like that house. These are original homes from the 1800s. It's like Virginia City, and it's preserved. But we're so high up in such a deep national forest. The problem I have is there's been fires over the years, and each time they get closer and closer, and I'm worried we're gonna one day lose Johnsville. And I would hate to lose Johnsville. That's why it's been on my mind for years about getting some video footage. I wish I could get more, but I don't have time. I've got to get to the lake, and I wish I had time up here. There's a mill, but I don't have time for it where we're going. It's a little hiking path for like a quarter mile to or about a half mile, but what we're doing is going up to the lake because I want to show you the peak in the lake, and I want to let my dogs run around for a bit. So to me, it's important to do. But what we're gonna do,
In 1/2 mile, turn left.
what we're gonna do is gonna go above Johnsville to the Eureka Peak, because the higher part of the peak is where they had most of the gold-bearing tunnels, and it was brought down to Johnsville to be crushed on a tram system, crushed in the 60 stamp mill, the Mohawk mill, which had 60 stamps. And you can see the crown of the peak, and very gold-bearing up here. But it was also a ski bowl up here, and there's a little trail.
Turn left.
Before you get to the lake, you can take this hiking trail, and it'll take you to the ski bowl, and where there's some tram ruins, and there's the Mammoth Mill. So there was 3 or 4 mills in the area. But what I want to do is take you up to the lake at the top, because it's not only is it nice to go to the lake, but it's also
It's close.
no way. Get the fuck out. No, this is it, isn't it?
No, this is Eureka Lake Road.
Yeah, 1.3 miles away.
This just is parking lot.
What happened? They took it away. I've been up there, man. There's a fucking used to be remnants of a boarding house, and there's a hiking trail that goes around the lake, and oh man. Well, you guys can look at I got pictures of it all, Eureka Peak, and I'll put a gallery together at the end of this, and you guys can see. But I just don't know what. I mean, what happened? I don't know. Unless this might be it.
It's a parking lot.
Huh?
It says parking lot.
This?
I'm telling you, it's not. I just looked at your map.
The lake's right out in front of us. I've been here before. Come on now. I think I know where I'm at. Yeah, I see the lake straight in front of us. It says something, something. Look at the name of the road. It's unbelievable. What the hell is that? I've never seen that before.
I don't know, it's somebody's campsite. I think maybe not. It's water.
That pisses me off, man. I've gone to the lake. There's a lake at the peak, right below the top of the peak. It's almost right. Do you remember that? It was covered in snow when we went. It had snow on the peak, a little bit of snow. Yeah, that's where the ski bowl is, and the Mammoth. We didn't go to the Mammoth Mill, but it's up there too. It's all up there. I want to take the dogs to the lake there. It's a nice lake. I don't know if this will take me either. We'll look.
Turn right.
It's a gate.
Oh, it's gated too. Can see how it cuts in? Because I'll show you. Watch on my GPS. See the lake?
Mm-hmm.
It goes here where the gate is and goes right up to the lake. Can't do it. Fuck me. That's so fucking stupid. They're just cutting off everything out here, man. You know that? They are. Like, I haven't been here in 6 or 7 years, right? And I came back to the state park. All the plaques are missing. As I was saying, I went to the Mohawk Mill area. The plaques were all gone. The trails were all overgrown. I couldn't find the Eureka Tunnel. And I went up to the top of the mill. And now this is gated to go up to the lake. And there's no snow. There's no snow here. We're below the snow line still. Nothing. And they've gated it. They've completely taken it away. It's gone. Can't even go to the lake. Used to have picnic benches and a parking lot at the lake. Serious. And if you go before the lake, there's a little trail that goes like a quarter mile I thought about taking. Will take you to the remains of the Mammoth Mill. And not just the Mammoth Mill, but there's also the historic ski bowl. It's the historic ski bowl, and there's where the ski bowl had a tram system, because the mines are there too, and you could take the kegs down, ride the tram down to the Mohawk Mill in Johnsville. That's how you got to the top to go skiing here. Because in the 1860s, this became one of the first ski resorts in North America. And it's believed that this area had the first ski lift in North America too. Eureka Peak. Because that's what the miners did in the 1860s. They went skiing. They used the Norwegian long 12-foot skis. And they used to have competitions here. Because that's what the miners had to have. They had lives too. They didn't just mine. I mean, they did things with their family. There's festivals in Johnsville. There was, you can go skiing here, fishing and hunting. It was.
Left, then turn right.
You didn't have a whole lot to do. There was hotels and saloons and shit like that to do. You go up to the lake. They had a boarding house at the lake. It's gone, but I seen a picture of the boarding house at Eureka Lake. Across.
Is this a national forest?
Yeah, it's Plumas.
That's why.
Huh. Yeah, I know. They closed it, but they didn't have to close it. They're only supposed to close it when there's, you know what I'm saying? When there's, like, snow. And the gate opens 8 a.m. to sunset. The gate's closed. It's not winter yet. It's only October. If we got a bad...
shutdown, dear.
No. No, I noticed even, like, the state park, there was a lot of, like... Everything's looking pretty bad there. The boards are all coming up. The roofs are all gone, like ripping off. It wasn't like that when I came back years ago. It's looking rough. The state park was rough. The plaques are all peeled up and gone. I can't even hike out to the fucking Eureka Tunnel. The path's gone and overgrown now. There's paths that are overgrown. There's just some, I don't know, man. It's not like it. I don't know.
I don't care about this shit.
Yeah, I know. It's looking pretty rough, though.
In 1/4 mile, make a U-turn.
Bullshit.
It is bullshit, but I don't think it's a government shutdown. Sometimes they close fucking roads and don't let anybody up them.
Possible, make a
That was
U-turn.
6 or 7 years ago I went to that lake. 6 years ago I went. Maybe longer, maybe 8. And I went up there maybe 8 years ago, and everything was open. It was open in December, just so you know. Yeah, it was December. Yeah, it was December I went up there. And there was a little snow up there, but they didn't close the gate, so here's the thing. The road should still stay open, the gates. You don't need employees for that. Because guess what? There's a lot of gates that are open in the National Forest. So there's no reason to not let somebody go a mile up to the picnic
In 1/4
area.
mile, make a U-turn.
You know what I'm saying? There's no excuse. That's just dumb. It's just...
I had service and then it went away.
I had service too earlier. But that's a bummer. That bums me out.
In 1 mile, turn right.
I remember you pulled right up to the lake and had a fence.
Yeah. Well, no, the lake don't have a fence. You can sit right on the shoreline. There's picnic benches. There's a loop trail that goes around the peak. and along the lake for a little ways. It's nice. Huh? Yeah. He came here. Jared came here, and him and I, remember when we hiked above the mill together? We went to the tunnel. I got my feet wet with him, and I went up there, couldn't find the tunnel. I found a mine that went 50 feet back that I hiked back to the end to, but I couldn't find the Eureka tunnel. And I know it was up there, and it's just so overgrown now up there. It's not none of it's maintained. It could be government cuts. There's they're doing some work cutting trees, but a lot of shit is not being maintained in that park. It's taking a dive, kind of. You know what I'm saying? And that's unfortunate, because I would love to go up to the lake. It's not the end of the world.
They haven't had the porta potty empty in a while.
Oh, I know. And they're not going to. But it is unfortunate, because I would love to go up there and let the dogs wander around the lake a little, and just, do a video, talk about the ski bowl and stuff. But there's a mill up there too, on a little trail. I didn't get to see the Mammoth Mill, and that's just like 0.5 miles, and then you park and you can walk up to it. It's not far. They call it the ski bowl. I seen it in the state park. There's a map, and it showed me the little trail to the Mammoth Mill, and it said Mammoth Mill and ski bowl, and I've never seen that. But I just, I want to be able to drive. I don't want to hike up that rocky road. So, it's pretty here, though. I mean, it's pretty country. I just am a little disappointed, because, it's like more and more places are closing, more and more places are burning down, more and more places are not being taken care of here out west. And this is why, it reminds me of why I take so much videos and photos, because in 10 years, who knows if the mill will even be standing. That was it. You know what I'm saying? That Mohawk mill's falling apart. I went inside, walked around. It was never that bad inside. There was just debris, wood beams, debris everywhere. It wasn't like that 8 years ago when I went in. It was cleared. Now there's holes in the walls. This is where we're going, to the Jamison City mining camp.
At least the case.
Yeah, I'd be pissed if it wasn't. That's what I'm saying. Why not open the gate to the lake, the picnic area?
Because the road's so bad that they're figuring some idiot will go out there and get stuck, and they don't have.
I don't know.
What the hell?
I've been on a lot of forest, even in the summer, where gates are closed years ago. They close what they want and keep open what they want. Anyway, folks,